Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. The NFL Weekly Pick'em Show is brought to you by BetNow.eu. Use the promo code TRUTH100 to get a cashback bonus on your first deposit. I am your host for the NFL Weekly Show, Mike Goodpaster, and I would like to welcome in my co-host for the Weekly Pick'em Show. First up, Brian Schmidt. How you doing, Schmitty?
Well, I was expecting just as good of an introduction as I got on the last show, but that one, not well done. Not well done at all.
Hey, you know what? Get a new host in for your show.
I want something kind of a little less than, Michael Buffer, but, a little bit more than Mike Goodpaster. So something in the middle.
All right. Well, you freaking get what you get. All right. That's it. All right. Next
you get
up,
what you get. What does that even mean?
Next up, maybe the greatest junior high school teacher, but probably worst coach and most least knowledgeable person I know that's a male. Scott Wilson. How you doing, Scott?
Mike, I'm great. I always appreciate the nice introduction and just you recognizing my accomplishments. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, what did we take away from this last week, Brian?
Watching the Bengals and Steelers is a lot like watching paint dry, except I think paint drying might be a little more exciting.
They'll score.
But, I've said it, for Pittsburgh to win, unfortunately, they have to do it defensively and have to do it ugly, and they take my advice to the extreme. So, that was bad. But, the other takeaway, I have is again, I hate to bring this up, but the officiating. My God. Can we ever get a season to where we don't have to discuss the officiating? And it doesn't have to be newsworthy on a weekly basis. It just really does take away from the game.
Yeah, most definitely. But the good thing is, it kept the Cowboys from having any chance to win, and I hate to get Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that is true.
All right. Scott, what's your big takeaway from this last week 12 in the NFL?
Well, week 12, Mike, as I've always said, Ryan Finley's not the answer, and there's questionable decisions by Coach Taylor. Okay. So I just want you guys to understand, I don't know what it takes for me to have to convince you to listen to me for a change, but I'm right. You need to go back to Andy Dalton. I have no idea why, because I don't understand his brain processing, but I was at the Steelers game with my wife. It's the first, I did see a Steelers fan get thrown out. She got totally baited. She was drunk. That was the highlight of the game. It's hard to watch that team. Although defensively, I think they're getting better. I think Jermaine Pratt will be a good player. They just have so many needs.
No, the Bengals defense does not get any better. They just played a really bad offense, and Jermaine Pratt is a put your hand down and rush the passer linebacker, which is what he was at NC State. He sucks.
Yeah.
They all suck. O.P. Taylor sucks. The whole city of Cincinnati sucks.
You know what? God bless America. I agree.
Except for Xavier.
I don't.
The Xavier Musketeers don't suck.
Please.
My big takeaway is this. Lamar Jackson could play a little football, and the Baltimore Ravens may be the best team, at least in the AFC right now. And that sets up a game we're going to talk about in a little bit, the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens, which I think is the game of the century.
Yeah, I think you're right. That game, you got the best best team against the best player. I think they're the hottest team.
Huh?
I think San Francisco is the best team. I think Baltimore is just Lamar Jackson's so hard to defend. I agree with you, Mike.
Well, I think he's hard to defend because of John Harbaugh. And
true, I agree with that. You're right.
That defense a month ago, I've always thought the Ravens were going to win a division this year, but I thought they would win it with an 8-8 or 9-7 record. They're obviously going to do better than that. All right, let's go ahead and let's look at what are you doing for Thanksgiving, Scott?
Oh, it's super fun. We go to my parents' house on the east side. They live in Terrace Park, which is uppity doo-dah-day. And we watch football, and I'm going to see which kid I can feed the most sugar that's not my kid. And just because So we do that, and then that's about it. So a lot of football. It's a great day. I love Thanksgiving.
Brian, what are you doing on Thanksgiving?
Well, as of right now, my boss, the owner, is working on getting me a flight to go back home.
What are you, a slave right now?
Hey, I look at it this
Massa
way.
going to give me a plane ride.
I look at it like this: when I get a $5,000 raise and told that I'm being flown home, I'll take it. So.
Yeah, we're all slaves anyways. Just make sure that's a round trip so you get to go back and you're not just...
Well, Mike, what are you doing Thanksgiving?
I'm chilling like a villain, Scott.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm just going to
doing
sit
9
around.
shows?
I'm going to sit around and I'm just going to wish I was somebody else again like I always do.
Well, yeah.
Why are you inviting me to your parents for Thanksgiving, Scott?
I don't know if you actually you would fit in. You'd fit in with my West Side family, not my East Side
so that's
family.
the smarter side of the family.
Yes, they're more down to earth.
That's what I thought. Oh, so I'm not down. I'm down to earth. Are you trying to make fun of me since you're rich and I'm poor? Since you're I'm a junior high teacher that probably makes $1 million a year.
I'm a teacher.
I know.
I'm a teacher.
I'm
a junior high
pretty
teacher.
Good money.
6th grade. Actually, it's a middle school. Can we correct it? It's a middle school teacher. It's not junior high.
Junior high sounds more important because you're almost a high school teacher. Instead, you're just a middle school teacher, which is nowhere near being a high school teacher.
I wouldn't want to teach high school. They're high school kids. Ugh.
Yeah, those kids will see right through you because they're not 12 years old.
That's right. And exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about these excellent matchups on Thanksgiving Day as the Chicago Bears will travel to Detroit to play the Lions. Nothing better than watching Mitch Trubisky battle Jeff Driscoll in a high-powered quarterback showdown. And in this showdown, the Bears are favored by 3 points, Brian.
Just keep the TV off and eat the turkey.
Do you think that they're favored by 3, or do you think I misread this and the over-under is 3?
It could be the over-under is 3, and I'm almost tempted to take the under. But no, I mean, boy, this is not good. I'm going to take the Bears to cover, but ugly. Keep eating turkey because this is not going to be the game to watch.
Yeah, and if you eat the turkey and then turn the game on, you might puke the turkey up. Scott?
So I agree with Brian. I think that somehow the Bears are 5-6. They're inconsistent, and their mistake. Trubisky he needs a name change. I think that would be the most logical thing for him because I don't like his name. So I think 3 weeks ago he was good, but
No, he wasn't.
I think he rallied them against Denver, and I think it was at home.
It was at Denver, and they won like 12-9, wasn't it? So
okay, well I think Detroit's defense is just bad, and so I think if Trubisky can start faster, they can stay. I think the Bears are going to win by 3, so I'm taking the Bears on this.
That'll be a push. Then you won't win.
You said what was the spread?
3.
Oh, well, I saw somewhere as 1.5. What kind of lines you running?
Usually.
Is it possible that you have been cheating us the entire time?
No.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Next up, the Buffalo Bills will travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys in what is the best game of the day. The Bills are getting 6.5 points here, Scott.
Yeah, I think the later game is going to be the good for daily fantasy, but I think this game is going to be a really good game. I think the Cowboys have got to have this game. I'm going to take the Cowboys on this. This point spread kind of scares me. What'd you say it was how much?
6.5.
6.5. That's but I think the Cowboys are it. It's at home, and I just think they need this game a lot. They've just got a lot to prove that they can beat teams winning records. It's interesting to me with Jerry Jones he is openly, I think, indirectly calling out Garrett, and
I don't know if that's the right thing to do, Mike. I don't know. I mean, you coach big-time stuff. I'm not sure how that affects the team, but I just think that Prescott is going to and Elliott are going to have a pretty good game. So I think it's going to be a grind on both sides, but I'm taking the Cowboys by 10.
All right. Brian, you've coached big-time stuff. Who do you think wins the game?
Yes, Brian.
I really hate to pick the Cowboys because I really don't like the Cowboys, but
Nobody does.
in this case, I tend to agree. They need this game. They've usually, it seems like they do well on Thanksgiving. It's at home. Begrudgingly, I'm going to take the Cowboys. I don't want to, and the point spread kind of scares me a little bit.
Oh,
At
yeah.
6.5 kind of scares me. Bills are a good team. Man, you know what? I'm going with the Bills. I talked myself out of it. I'm going with the Bills.
All right, now you got to have a scribble on my paper. All right. This is the thing that worries me is the Bills are a physical team that's going to run the ball. They're going to probably stop the run. Can Dak Prescott beat them? Josh Allen scares me because he's not very good, but he can run, so he can make some plays that way. Leighton Vander Esch is out for the Cowboys, as is their starting nose tackle. I'm going to go with Dallas. I think Dallas is the better team, but I also think it's very possible that Jason Garrett sucks so bad that he can pull this off. And I think this. I think that it is possible if the Dallas Cowboys lose this game with an extra 4 days that Chris Richard may become the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys immediately after this game.
You think so?
I think that's very possible.
All right.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, this is not normal like Jerry Jones. For him to do this, he's an impatient guy. I think they seem like they just never continue to just go. I don't know.
Well, the thing is this. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they have maybe the easiest schedule over the last 5 weeks of the season. And there's a good chance, even though they're playing like crap and Carson Wentz looks like crap, that they could win all 5 of those games. And you're going to have a big game in about 3 weeks where the Dallas Cowboys go to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. And if they were to lose to the Bills, you know, everything could come down to that. And I don't think Jerry Jones, because this team is 9-2 talent with a 6-5 record because of the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But next up, the New Orleans Saints are favored by 7 in Atlanta. And I am going to take the Saints to get a little payback from what happened a couple weeks ago. I don't like the point spread in a divisional matchup, but Brian, I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints as well. I agree with you, and the one thing is with the Falcons, they've had those times offensively where they just can't stop anybody, and you know it scares me with the point spread if it gets into a little bit of a shootout. But I think the Saints will cover this.
All right, Scott.
You said it's 6.5, Mike?
7.
God. I hate this because I think it's going to be a 7-point game. So what happens if it's a push? Who wins?
Nobody.
All right, well, I'm going to take the Saints. I think they're going to cover the spread. I think the Saints, I don't know, Atlanta's defense they've been really hit or miss. And I think they're trending downward. I don't think their coach has put near enough into their defense. A buddy of mine, he's a big Atlanta fan. He just is miserable. All he does is talk about how awful the defense is. So I think Drew Brees is a good quarterback to go with, and so is Alvin Kamara for your individual fantasy stuff. I think the Saints win.
All right, next up, the Green Bay Packers are favored by 7 in New York against the Giants. Scott.
In New York against the Giants. So I'm taking this Packers. I think they're going to win by 10. I think the Packers are going to have problems with Barkley, but I think the Packers' passing attack can get after Daniel Jones. And I think Golden Tate's not playing. He's got a concussion, and Ingram's out too, and I think that really hurts them. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a really, really big game. I think his pride's been hurt. Although this offense, I don't know. You might know this more than I do, Mike. In fact, I'm sure you do. I don't know what that offense there is that are running, but it looks far. It just looks like it's not even worth. Like Rodgers just looks like, get me out of this shit stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, they suck. But the Giants have Daniel Jones, and he sucks. They can't block for Saquon Barkley. I think the stat I saw was his last 44 carries, he's gained 88 yards. I'm taking a pack, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers. But despite the fact that they're 8-3, I'm not a big fan of this Packer team being, yes, they're 8-3, but they just don't look good. And it just seems like they're getting worse. So
yeah, and I think Minnesota's going to win the division.
Yeah, and so yes, I'm going to take the Packers, but it's more because of who they're playing than the actual Packers. I'm really not sold on this Packer team at all.
All right, next up, Dwayne Haskins, who sucks because he played at Ohio State, Scott, and Ohio State's going to lose to Michigan this week. Will travel to Carolina.
You're out of your mind. I will bet you $1,000 times 10. There's no way Ohio State's losing that game. You're crazy.
Okay.
As long as
Scott, we're going to do this, okay?
Yes.
Since you made the bold prediction that it can't be done, what we're going to do is next week's show, after Michigan beats Ohio State, you will sing every word to Hail to the Victors seriously on air.
I will sing it, and I will put so much love into it because now if I'm right, I'm going to get a bucket and I'm going to pee in it and I'm going to pour it on those words. I'm going to print them out on a piece of paper. So there's no chance. There's no way. How would you game plan against Ohio State? You can't throw deep. You can't run against them. Their linebackers suck, but I don't think Michigan can't keep up with Ohio State's.
Shea Patterson's better than you think. Better than you think he is. Ryan Day is not Urban Meyer, and it's just as Bruce Buffer would say, it's time.
You're okay. Sure. Just everybody, one of your listeners, you heard this right now. I am dead right, and that guy Mike is wrong.
Okay. Michigan will win.
If I'm right,
I saw Ohio State. Right? Didn't Ohio State just struggle with Penn State?
Well, Penn State's better than you think. I think Penn State's got a pretty good running game.
They're better than I think they almost lost to Indiana.
But look at the second half. The second half was, Ohio State, they go to a different level. They run the ball. They're averaging.
Well, they do play a bunch of stupid-ass teams that aren't any good, so you got that.
I understand that. Look, I understand that.
Michigan blew out Notre Dame 45-14. They blew out a good Indiana team 39-14.
Harbaugh is John Cooper. He cannot coach big games. You watch.
No, John Cooper didn't coach in a Super Bowl.
Look, and what happened? He lost to his brother. He can't coach in big games.
What the hell's that mean? He can't coach big games.
Wait
a second. So you're telling me the
mistake.
year he went to the Super Bowl that the NFC Championship game was not a big game?
No, I'm just saying. Shut
up. No, you're going to have to answer this question, Scott. Explain to me why the NFC Championship game is not a big game.
It's not that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
Mike.
you
I'm
did.
saying
You wait,
in the pinnacle
Scott.
game. Oh my God, this is subjective.
Scott, I'm going to do this, Brian. I'm going to ask Brian a question, and you're going to be quiet. Brian, do you think an NFC Championship game is a big game?
Absolutely, it's a big game.
Now, Brian, do you think that somebody that thinks it's not a big game is like a complete and utter moron?
Generally speaking, yeah, you're going to be a moron if you don't think a championship game is a big game. It takes you to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It's important.
All right, so that's been settled. Washington at Carolina. Carolina's favored by 10. We'll go with the moron first. Who do you like here, moron? Carolina's favored by 10.
So I think they've got a big problem with Dwayne Haskins.
I'm going to agree with you, Mike.
You told me Dwayne Haskins was going to be a stud in the NFL, and you wanted the Bengals to draft him.
Mike, but I'm talking about his immaturity issues. I don't.
What the hell's that got to do with it? He can't play quarterback. Why is it immaturity?
Well, no,
he just isn't any good.
I don't think their line's very good. I think you got to have. I think the Redskins are going to lose by a lot to this game. I think the Carolina is going to cover the spread. I think the Panthers struggle against teams that have the offensive line to push them around, and I don't think Washington does that. Kuechly's going to be an
are you
absolute
admitting
nightmare.
that you were wrong about Dwayne Haskins?
No, I didn't say it. But here's the thing. He's got to be in the right system. He's a system quarterback.
Every quarterback is. Every quarterback is. If Lamar Jackson came to Cincinnati, he would have been a complete bust.
I agree with that. But before Dwayne Haskins got to before what's-his-name, Day came, Haskins had no chance. He improved immensely under Day's a really good coach.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I'm telling you, Ohio State's going to light up Michigan this weekend. Michigan's not good. They're not that good. Anyway, so I think Washington wins.
Well, I'll tell you this. I feel bad for you, Brian, because I know you're an Ohio State fan too, and you just heard that prediction from Scott Wilson. They're going to
win the national title.
It has to worry you.
It always worries me.
What about the week that I won?
The week that you won. There's been 13 weeks. You've won one, and you're like 40 games out of first place.
Okay, go ahead. I'll do it.
You know, that's kind of like the Bengals talking about the week they won, only they haven't.
Right.
Brian, Carolina -10.
Yeah, we're going to take Carolina.
Okay.
This Redskin team is a mess.
And I'm going to let Brian speak for me because he said we're going to take Carolina. So I'm taking Carolina also. Also, Matt Andrews-Scavage can be here tonight because we've extended his punishment for making fun of Scott because I'm really thinking about terminating Matt from the show because I feel bad the way he picks on Scott. I mean, Scott's a moron and he can't help it.
I am not saying I've had that. My feelings were really hurt one night, and I cried a lot. It was really sad. And I think that was the week I won and beat everybody.
Yeah, and you weren't even on the show. So
no.
Next up, the game of the century. The San Francisco 49ers are 6-point underdogs to the Baltimore Ravens. So, biggest game of the year, we've got to go with the best picker here. He won a week one time, Scott Wilson. Who do you like?
So, I like San Francisco, but only because I don't think the Ravens are going to cover the spread when they win. You said the spread was how much, Mike? 3?
6.
Or 6. Yeah,
How the hell did you get 3 out of 6?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Okay. So
that seems to be a big problem you have, Scott.
Oh.
Scott. Scott. Who you got, Scott? Scott Wilson.
Okay, I'll pick.
Oh, he hung up out of frustration. So, what do you got, Brian?
With this, the way the Ravens are playing right now, I'm going to take the Ravens. They're just playing at such a high level, and I expected them to win in L.A., obviously, but I mean they dominated that game from the kickoff. It wasn't even close. They're just playing at a high level. I'm gonna take them because they're at home.
All right.
I can't get to the phone right now. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Scott. This is Mike and Brian with the Grueling Truth and the whole world listening in. Got to answer your phone. All right. This is the way I look at this. I believe that the 49ers are one team that can actually defend the Ravens because I think they are the most athletic, quickest team sideline to sideline in the NFL. I think the 49ers win this game. I think it'll be close, Brian, but I think the Niners win. So,
yeah, the point spread kind of scares me. I will say that that 6.5 to me just kind of scares me. I think that's a little too much. But at the same time, I can see the Ravens winning by 7.
Yeah. I think it'll be a hell of a game, though, either way. Next up, we have Tennessee at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is favored by 2.5.
Can't get on the call right now. Leave me a message. I'll get back to you. Thanks.
Didn't even call him that
At the
time.
tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording,
Tennessee,
you may hang up or press
Indianapolis,
1 for more
the Colts
options.
are favored by 2.5, Brian.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts. Both of these teams have some issues, but I think the Colts are a little bit more complete team, so I'll take the Colts.
All right, I'm going to take the Titans. I think the Titans are a Super Bowl contender. With Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, the way they run the ball, the way they play defense, I think the Titans win this game, and I think the Titans eventually win the AFC South. I may be crazy, but hey, speaking of crazy, Scott Wilson, are you there? Scott, he just called in. I answered the phone. Scott.
He's not there.
Yeah, it says he's here.
He
Scott.
probably has his phone on mute.
Huh. I don't know. Let's see. He's not there. He probably does have his phone on mute. So if you're listening to us, Scott, take your phone off mute. Still shows that he's here. Are you there, Brian?
I'm here.
I know. Huh. All right. So I'm taking Tennessee. You're taking Indianapolis. And who should we pick for Scott since he's not on the phone right now?
We'll give him Indianapolis.
All right. Scott's asking, are we good to go? We're on the phone, Scott. He's a moron. Hold on. We got to fix Scott. Actually, somebody probably should have fixed him years ago. But all right, next up, Scott will just miss that pick no matter what. Philadelphia, favored by 9.5 at Miami. I'm going to take Miami. I just think it's an awful lot of points. Carson Wentz is not playing that good. I think Philadelphia will win the game, but I'm going to take the points here, Brian.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm going to take Miami. Excuse me. I think Philadelphia will win the game, but I think that's an awful lot of points, and Miami has played better. Carson Wentz is not playing well. This Philadelphia team scares me a little bit. They're and I know it's just from seeing a lot of Eagles fans. It's what is wrong with Wentz? Has the NFL caught up to him? What's going on? Because he just does not look very good.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't really care. But you said you're taking Miami or Philadelphia?
I'm taking Miami.
I agree.
Too many points.
Yeah, you there,
Too many
Scott?
points.
This will not let Scott on. It shows that he's already on, so when he calls in, it won't answer.
Is there a way of dumping him so that way when he calls in it?
No, because I'm trying to dump him and it won't let me.
No.
Well. Yeah. Well, it's no fun without Scott to make fun of. Next up, Oakland at Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by 9.5.
You have reached
Brian.
the maximum time permitted for recording your message. If you are satisfied with your message, press 1
There.
to listen to your message. Press 2 to erase and re-record. Press 3.
Now maybe it'll just hang up and he can call back in.
Are you still there? You have reached the maximum time permitted for recording your message. If you are satisfied with your message, press 1. To listen to your message, press 2. To erase and re-record,
You there, Scott?
press 3.
Scott.
Are
Yeah,
you still there? You
he
have reached
keeps-
the maximum time permitted
keeps
for
calling,
recording your
and he's
message. If you
never
are
hung up
satisfied with
his
your message,
phone.
press 1. To listen to your message,
Oh, my
press
God.
2. To erase and re-record, press 3.
Oh, boy.
Sorry you're having trouble. Your message has been sent. Goodbye.
Jeez.
Yay!
All right. Let's see what happens now if we try to get him back online. Here we go. Are you still there, Brian?
I'm still here.
All right. We're calling him.
Dun, dun, dun.
He ain't answering. Oakland, Kansas City. Kansas City by 9.5, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kansas City. Oakland has fallen off the cliff.
I can't get to the phone right now. Leave me a message. I'll get back to you. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your message.
All right. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs.
You're going to take the Chiefs and give the 9.5
Yep.
points.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you. I don't like the points in a divisional matchup, though, but I don't think Oakland's that good. Next up, Tampa Bay at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is favored by 1 point. I'm going to take Tampa Bay in this game. I'm going to take Jameis Winston over Nick Foles, Brian.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay too. I don't trust the Jaguars at all.
Scott, are you there? I just merged a call and it didn't work again.
Poor Scott.
I know. It's sad. It's really sad. What game were we on? Oh, who did you take? Tampa Bay or Jacksonville?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay? Okay.
Yep.
Let me mark that down. Now I can see why, our boy Matt was so mean to him. So I think we're going to let him back on next week. And we may have to get rid of Scott. Now Scott's calling my cell phone. But hold on. Let's see if we can get this on air. Hello. No, you're on my cell phone, Scott. All right. Well, hang up, and I'm going to try to call you again, and maybe this time you can answer your freaking phone. All right? Hang up. Brian, have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Scott voted for President Camacho. I'm trying it again. So he'll either answer or we'll get his horrendous answering machine. Oh, to hell with it. The show's got to go on.
Yeah.
You there?
Oh, my God. Yes. What happened?
You're an idiot. That's what happened. You got to hang your phone up before you make a call. Dude, the answer machine on your phone was on, and that's why you couldn't get through.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
All right, Tennessee,
All right, sorry.
Indianapolis, Colts are favored by 2.5.
This for me.
Yeah, because everybody else
Okay,
has
I'm
already
taking
picked it.
Tennessee on. Sorry, I'm taking Tennessee on that.
Okay.
I just don't trust Jacoby Brissett. I think Titans will probably between 5 and 7. I think Tannehill's on fire. He's got really good control. The Titans offense seems to be doing really. Derrick Henry is really impressive. I think he's used really well. I think he wears out their defenses, and I think the Colts have gone into almost like a shell with their run-heavy approach, and there's a lot of injuries on them. So I think the Colts, they need to play better defense at home, but I just don't think it's going to happen here.
All right, Scott, Philadelphia, Miami. Philadelphia's favored by 9.5. Scott? No, God, here we go again. Scott!
I swear I think he hits the mute button on it by accident.
Oh, let's call him back again.
Is he gone?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry.
Philadelphia, Miami. Philadelphia's favored by 9.5.
Philadelphia was going to win by 14. I think the Eagles
All
are
right.
big
Next
favorites.
up, we've got
Thanks.
Oakland at Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by 9.5.
Okay, Oakland to Kansas City. I'm going to take Kansas City on this. I think
All
Kansas
right.
City's going to
Tampa
win
Bay
big.
at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's favored by 1.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville?
Yes.
You're going to miss that one. Let's see.
No, I'm not.
All right.
I
now,
think Jameis Winston's going to take a dump on the field. All right, go ahead.
we're to
That's
the
my
next
analysis.
game. Well, if you don't like Jameis, it means he can play quarterback. Brian, the New York Jets at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jets are favored by 3.5 points.
Taking the Jets.
Scott, now you can give an explanation for anything he answered
Okay.
because you've now caught up.
So I actually think this game is going to be close. I think the Jets' run defense is going to be a tough time for Mixon. I think Dalton's going to be in a lot of uncomfortable third down or down at this situations. I think the Bengals are going to play inspired because of Dalton. They're home. I think the Jets are going to escape this game, but I don't think it's going to be by much. I do think the Jets will cover the spread, though.
Okay. Why would the Bengals be inspired if you're so sure that Andy Dalton's terrible?
Because I know how to read the minds of the entire team, and that's what they're thinking.
So this is like when you said that, hold on, who was the first game Ryan Finley started against? Baltimore. And remember, Brian, where some
not fun.
certain guy on here said that the Bengals would cover because they're going to be so pumped up to play with Ryan Finley.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember that.
I remember.
We can pull the
I
audio.
have selective memory hearing loss, so I don't really. Yeah, I don't remember that. It
So
probably
basically,
happened, though, but-
you've been completely wrong about everything you've said about the Bengals this year. You said Opie Taylor
No,
was
I've been
gonna...
right.
Really?
I think he is good. I do
Opie
think
Taylor's
he's
good.
I think he's nice in public. I've met him. He's good dressed. I think he doesn't waste. I don't think he doesn't. They don't waste time. I don't know if it's a big deal, but they don't waste time out.
Really, they
I think
don't?
they're more aggressive.
Scott, God, shut up. What the hell?
All right.
I mean, they played the Oakland
don't.
Raiders. There was a minute left in the first half. They ran one play. By the time they ran the next play, there was 19 seconds left in the first
Okay,
half.
I'm speaking
He's
in
an
general
idiot. He's a
Mike, I went there.
12-year-old
I
kid
had
that
season
shits his
tickets for-
pants every time something happens.
I had season tickets for 8 years. Then I cannot tell you the amount of times they had, they screwed up timeouts. They called a timeout in the second half one game, and then they called a timeout right out of it. Another game they had no timeouts with 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Scott, with
Yes, sir.
all those
Yes.
wasted timeouts, were they ever 0-11?
What?
This is a rough year. It's a rough year to be a Bengal. But
Bullshit.
what happens if
Every
Ryan
year's a
Tannehill has
rough
A.J.
year to be
Green?
a Bengal.
What happens if he has A.J. Green, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Green, Marvin Jones? It's a different story with all those guys.
Yeah, because Marvin Jones and Mohamed Sanu have been absolute studs elsewhere since they left.
Anyway.
I mean,
So
I would think that somebody that knew football the way you purport to
Which I do,
know
of
football would
I do.
say that Andrew Whitworth and Kevin Zeitler were the big losses.
You and I talked about that numerous times.
Yeah,
And I think
and you were
can't,
fine with it.
And again, you didn't believe me, and when I told you, and
What?
I'm like, trust me, I'm right again. About
You
Zeitler
told
and
me
Woodward.
that Andrew
Fine.
Whitworth. You told me Cedric Ogbuehi would be better than Andrew Whitworth.
That's an absolute lie. Okay, stop. That was before
Yeah.
I saw his tape. When I saw his tape, I was like, oh my god.
Wait a second. So
He's
you made
awful.
that comment before you even saw
No.
the tape.
Fake news. I never. What? No.
Yeah, you just said you did. You said that's what you said until you saw the
tape. Sometimes we say things that we get these premonitions about, and sometimes they're wrong. So yeah.
Or all the time in your case.
Yes.
I would love to take the Bengals because I think what I would love to see the Bengals do here is just re-sign Andy Dalton for another 5 years and draft Chase Young.
No. Oh my God.
You know, you're the same person that thinks that Justin Fields would be a better pick than Joe Burrow or Tua Tagovailoa. And you love Justin Herbert, who can't wait. This is the problem with you.
What are you talking
You're
about?
so full of crap.
Watch the game?
What?
No, I'm not. Really? You actually watch it. Herbert, listen, my quarterback now.
Do you know he lost?
You need to trust it.
Do you know he lost?
I know he lost, but he looked pretty good.
Do you know he lost
quarter.
because he threw 2 interceptions? Do you know that the only reason his stats are good because he plays in the Pac-12? Who's Justin Herbert beat this year?
Mike, I'll say this. Here's the thing. I agree with you on this. Yes, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, he sucks.
Those interceptions were really bad. And those were like, oh my God, what
and
are
it
you
lost
doing?
him the game. And can you tell me a time when Justin Herbert has won a big game?
But let me ask you this. I mean, you and I have talked about like Joe Burrow. Burrow's arm strength is
awesome.
I know he got. Well, but I'm saying those 2 balls are picked in the NFL that he threw.
Scott,
and he was getting
will you stop?
Yes.
The balls you're talking about on the 2 interceptions, one of them he threw 65 yards off his back freaking foot.
No, it wasn't 65 yards.
Oh,
it was
60.
It wasn't.
60, I'm
sorry.
It
was on maybe 50.
No, it was 60. Scott, shut up. Shut up, because you lose all credibility when you sit here 2 weeks ago and you tell us Ryan Finley is going to be this great quarterback because he's got more arm strength.
I did not say that.
Wait.
You misquote
did.
me.
Brian,
maybe
what did
I might
he say?
Have said something. I don't know.
What did he
say that?
Yeah, he said that.
Because he can read a defense better. Shut up, Scott. You're going to let me talk because you've hogged the whole show so far, except for the part where you couldn't figure out how to use your freaking phone. All right. So, Andy, you said that Ryan Finley had a stronger arm than Andy Dalton. Anybody that would say that should probably stick spikes in their eyes because you're an idiot. You said that he read a defense better. You're an idiot because he holds onto the ball forever because he can't read a defense. So
neither can Dalton. Okay.
I know, because usually guys that can't read a defense are starting quarterbacks for 5 straight playoff teams.
He had a great supporting system, too.
Oh, okay. Well, how about this? Can you tell me a quarterback who makes it to the playoffs?
Would you trust him? Would you be like, I need a guy to win a 4th quarter game right now on one drive? Who do I get? You pick
I'll take Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's got how many drives does Andy Dalton have in the 4th quarter? If I could pick any quarterback, I'd pick Russell Wilson.
Look up his number of pick sixes he's thrown.
Oh, really?
In crucial situations.
In crucial situations, like when?
Yes.
Give me an example.
Playoff game.
Give me an example.
The Houston game. He threw it right to J.J. Watt.
Wait a second. J.J. Watt's a defensive end. Jesus, shut up. Shut up. Okay. J.J. Watt is a defensive end.
You said shut up.
He jumped up in the air and made a play no other defensive end in the history of the NFL has made.
He threw one right on my birthday present game. My dad bought me tickets, and that was fun to watch him.
What game was that?
Ignore the tight end wide up. It's against the Denver Broncos the year after they won the Super Bowl. They should have beat him. And Dalton didn't even look at the tight end. He turned to the right and just chucked it to A.J. Green.
Wait a second. The Bengals won that game, Scott.
No, they didn't. They lost.
Yeah, they did.
Trust me, I was at the game.
They won it. Trust me. They won it. It was on Monday Night Football. You're wrong.
No, it wasn't.
You're wrong. Let's look it up. What year would that have been, Scott?
We're not talking about the same game. You're wrong.
What year, Scott? What year?
Just shut up.
What year, Scott?
It was the year after the Broncos won the Super Bowl.
Which would have been 2016?
Well, look it up. They lost to the Denver Broncos. We were at the game. It wasn't a night game. There was another game later on, or this may have been earlier than that. I was at the game with my wife. She'll tell you about it. She's like, yeah, Scott says it all the time. We were there, like, oh, maybe look at the tight end on the left. I'm telling you, I'm right.
You're not, because you don't know when to look at the tight end on the left because you have no clue.
Oh my God! He was staying there wide open, like a third grader could have thrown him the ball. My God. Anyway.
No, they couldn't have.
Okay.
How many games did your team win this year?
You asked me a lot of questions that are condescending.
How many games did your team win this year?
Well, we have won one 6- and 7-year-old game for our mighty pit bulls basketball.
All right. So once again, your football team that you coached this year, if you're this quarterback,
we had a rough year.
Okay. All right.
Now,
so you were just below 500. You had a rough year, or were you winless?
I think I can see where this is going, Mike. So yeah, we were
winless,
and we were winless. Yeah, we didn't win a game.
Yeah,
and we got to try harder next year. We didn't have enough try.
You didn't have enough what?
Try. No, we you got to have
enough try. What do you coach soccer now?
Hey, walk on. Nice. All right. Are we supposed to answer questions about teams here?
Well, we're just making a baseline for where your knowledge comes from, and it seems like it comes from coaching junior high, winless junior high football teams. When you watch those videos,
we were the previous 3 years we were 18-4.
So you lost 4 games.
What now?
18-4. Well, I was at the same school for 5 years, the 7th and 8th grade combined. We were like 45-10.
Well, yes.
Okay.
So I'm just it helps if you have talent. Talent helps.
Really?
It does.
And you're telling me that the teams that we had when I was there were talented.
We had good talent. Oh yeah.
That 8th grade team the last year I was there was really talented, wasn't it, Scott?
No, I will say this. And I will say this, even though you are inherently mean to me on here. You are a very good coach. And you're the best X's and O's coach I've ever seen.
And so is Brian, and we're both immensely smarter than you, and you always disagree with us. Why is that?
Well, because you'll see the light eventually. My time is not here yet. I'm baiting. I'm biding my time.
You're baiting? Oh, my God. Schmitty, remember when I asked you if you ever saw the movie Idiocracy? Oh, hell. Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy, Scott?
No, I haven't, and I fail to see what your point is on this.
Because this is what Idiocracy is. It's about like 100, 200 years from now, when society has been dumbed down so much that a WWE professional wrestler is the president, and this guy goes into the future. I don't remember how he gets there, but he goes there from the present day now, and he's the smartest man there. And everybody there is so stupid. They asked the one guy what he's been doing all day. And he said, I'm just sitting here baiting. And that's what you just said.
I said bathing. B-A-T-H.
No, you said baiting. Didn't he say baiting?
You got to be clean.
Brian.
You got to be clean.
Brian.
You got to have a clean, sound mind.
All right. Next up. The Bengals and the Jets still. I got to pick that. I'm going to go with the Jets. But I would like to say at least maybe the Bengals will throw for 200 yards this game. Next, we've got the Cleveland Browns at Brian Schmidt's Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are 2.5-point underdogs, Brian.
Well, this is going to be a MMA fight because I got a funny feeling this is going to turn into a what the Steelers Bengals have been, here in the past. This is going to turn into that. I want to take Pittsburgh. Just defensively, they're going to come in pretty charged up. Pittsburgh's making a quarterback change, which isn't, anything to be extremely excited about. But the one thing I like about the kid is he doesn't have any fear. He'll throw the ball downfield where, you don't really see that. I mean, that was one of the big things. He came in and threw it downfield, and Washington did the rest. But for Pittsburgh to win this, it's like every game right now. They're so banged up offensively. They've got to win it defense, and they've got to turn it into an ugly kind of a bloodbath kind of a game, and that's the only way they're going to win. But I think they will win this.
All right, Scott.
So I'm picking Cleveland, even though I'm not happy with Cleveland. and what they've done to me in fantasy football. I keep picking the wrong receiver.
So you suck in real football and fantasy football.
I won $140. I won $140 last week. That's if I am good with.
I don't believe you.
I'll send you. I won $90 in one game. Actually, the number one of the top 5 guys in the nation. I lost him by 5 places. Whatever. So I think the Browns are a pretty good group offensively. They're going to win by 7. I think. I think Baker Mayfield's in sync with his receivers. I think that the Garrett issue, I don't know how much that's going to play into it, but I think I was at the Pittsburgh Bengals game. I think that quarterback came in. He has, like you were saying, right? He's got some guts, man. That guy drove them. I mean, he went right down the field, and I think he's a tough guy. I think he's not afraid to take chances. And again, especially against a vaunted Bengals defense, so that was even more impressive. I'm kidding. So I think the Browns are going to win this game by 7.
All right, I think the Browns will win this game like 30-3. I think it's going to be an ass kicking. I think Pittsburgh's screwed. They got no offense. You don't have much in the way of running game. I hope Pittsburgh wins because I hate.
Oh, we don't have any. I'm the first to admit we don't.
Yeah, I just don't see how you can win the game because I think Cleveland is going to at least be able to get into the low 20s, and that's out of range of what Pittsburgh can get. Next up, the Chargers at the Broncos. The Chargers are favored by 2.5, Scott.
So this is an interesting game because I think Phillip Rivers is on his way out after this year.
I think the Chargers are going to go after a quarterback. I've always liked Rivers, but I just think something's wrong with him throwing a whole lot. I think they need to reduce how much. I think they're going to reduce how much time he throws. I think the Chargers are going to win by 6, but they got issues with their quarterback situation. I think Von Miller coming after is going to be, an issue. I think Chris Harris covers Keenan Allen pretty well. But I just think Bosa and Melvin Ingram are going to be too much off the edge for Brandon Allen. So that's my pick.
All right. I agree with Scott. I can't believe I just said that. Brian?
Yeah, I agree with Scott, and I was trying to figure out a way to somehow change my pick, but no, I'll take Chargers.
All right, next up, the New England Patriots will go to Houston to battle the Texans. The Texans are 3.5-point dogs, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots. This Patriot team, they do what they've always done. They find a way to win. Defensively, for a couple of years there, defensively they were okay, not great, but they won because of offensively. And this year, defensively, they're one of the best defenses in the NFL. Offensively, with all the injuries and everything, they've kind of been not to their standards, but yet they still find a way to win. So I'll take the Patriots.
All right, Scott.
Well, I agree with Brian. New England's defense is, I don't know if is this one of the greatest defenses ever. I think San Francisco got a pretty good defense. But I mean, like he was right that the yards they're allowing like 2,800 yards. They're second in the league in yards allowed, like 256 per game. They don't allow a lot of passing yards, and they're averaging less than 100 yards a game allowed on the run. So I just think it's really stupid to go against Belichick. There's a reason why you just don't pick against him. I think the Patriots are going to win by a lot. I think the spread is way off. The Patriots are 10-1 against the Texans since the Texans came into the league in 2002. In 4 meetings since 15. This is kind of Belichick's teams have beaten former offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien's team 5 consecutive times. Average margin of victory more than 15 points. I think just Belichick is such a wizard, and I think this defense is really. I thought it was interesting. Brady said this week that the strength of their team is their defense and their special teams. He was not afraid to say the offense has not been that great. So that's my take.
All right. I think this is going to be a close game decided in the last few minutes. New England's not very good. New England wins because they don't make mistakes and they wait for the other team to make the mistakes. I think New England will win this game. I'm tempted to take Houston into points, but I'm going to go with New England. But don't be surprised if Houston wins this game. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings will travel to Seattle to battle the Vikings, or to battle the Seahawks. I said it like Scott. Seattle is favored by 3 points, Scott. This is a really good matchup, too.
Yeah, this is. So it's a Monday night game, which is it's just you love these games. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I think they're going to cover the spread, but I think Minnesota's defense is. I think it's underrated. The Vikings. I remember last season's Monday night December trip. The Vikings were just dominated by Seattle. I think Cousins are in the offense are performing better, and now Thielen's going to come back. I just think Russell Wilson is really good. And I think that, I don't know, I think Cousins is, I'm not sure he's going to come up big in this game. It's at Seattle. It's Seattle home. I don't know what their record is at home, but it's just a really hard play, especially on a Monday night. I don't care who comes in except New England. I'm taking Seattle on this.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to take Seattle. I think just, better overall team. They're playing at home. Love Russell Wilson. Minnesota just at times, they just don't impress me. And then there are other times they do. You just don't know what team's going to show up. But I think it doesn't matter playing Seattle, especially in Seattle.
Well, Baltimore played Seattle and did all right.
Come on, Ball. That's a.
Come on.
They shouldn't count in that because they're just in the above and beyond a lot of people.
Okay, sure. But the Saints with Teddy Bridgewater went to Seattle and won also. Minnesota is the superior team. Neither team's offensive line is very good. Dalvin Cook is better than Chris Carson, who's been having trouble fumbling the ball. If Thielen's back, they've got the better receivers. Defensively, I think Minnesota is better. And Kirk Cousins is good enough to win a Super Bowl in Minnesota, which may just happen this year. I'm going to take the Vikings into points. So what do you think of that, Scott? You want to say something intelligent?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Brian, any final words or anything you want to talk about before we go?
No, I'm ready to go and enjoy a holiday weekend. So, minus watching that Detroit-Chicago game, be a good time to enjoy the family and watch football.
It's better than watching soccer.
That's about the only thing you can do with that.
All right. So, Scott, you talked about your team had only won one game. Does that mean your basketball team lost again?
No, we had a close battle, but we have
lost.
a problem with So we tried to institute a zone defense right on the fly because I think kids need to learn man to man, but it wasn't working because the other team had more try. So we instituted a zone, we shut them down, and I was pretty impressed with what I thought. I think my going way to take is you have to, like Ferris Bueller said, sometimes you have to. What did he say? He was the walrus. Oh, life moves pretty fast. You don't stop around and look, you could miss it. And that's why I think all of you need to get off of stop being mean to Opie. Okay? Let's be nicer. I think it's Thanksgiving. We should be thankful. We should be thankful for we have a new coach, and you should be thankful that you have my freaking intelligence to offset your questionable picks, Mike.
Yeah.
Holy God Almighty.
That's why you're so far behind me. And I
There
have
you
never
go.
once.
Be
Brian,
safe.
have you ever heard me say to Scott that he was one of the most brilliant offensive minds I've ever come across?
I haven't even. I can't even see you dreaming that. So.
Oh, Mike, do you remember the time that you made me go listen to a parent because this parent wanted to know why their kid wasn't playing? and this kid just sat on the field all during practice. Remember that?
No.
Maybe, but yeah. See, you talk about that takes football knowledge.
What
how
are you
to deal with
talking
that
about?
parent. I can't say. I don't want to say the name on air.
No, I mean,
There was a kid.
just give me initials.
PF.
Oh, Fat Pat. I remember him.
No, let's stop. We don't need to go. Let's not be mean. Yeah. So, coaching with you was, I mean, anybody wants to know, what it would be like coaching with Mike Goodpaster? It's insane because his mind goes a million miles a minute. He expects you to keep up. If you don't, then you're a moron. But it makes you, yeah. Pretty much
That's
what
not
happened.
true, is it, Schmitty?
That's not true.
Thank you.
Okay. You're a nice guy.
Yes, I am.
And everybody be safe.
Why are you still giggling, Brian?
I have no idea. This show was lost a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. We're the only people who'll ever hear this part of the show.
People pay attention, you know. Hey, so if I'm right on so after Ohio State wins Michigan, you know what? By the way, I'll bet you $25. I'll give you 7 points.
Well, the point spread is 9.5.
Actually, I think it's 19, Mike. Point spread is about 19.
No, I don't think it is.
I'm telling you, it is.
Oh, just give me 19.
I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. We're not making that bet. I forgot it was that much.
You're the one that offered the bet.
Listen, Ohio. Chase Young is being coached by the best D-line coach in America. I've been to that guy's clinics twice, Larry Johnson.
Well, is that what makes him so good? You've been to his clinics?
No, I think. Okay. Oh, he's the best NFL. He's the best in any league. The best D-line coach. If you go up there, you ought to see him. He's phenomenal. And I don't think Ohio State has any weaknesses. I don't know where you can attack. Well, if you were coaching against them, I know you said
they're linebackers.
Right, they suck. I agree with that.
Okay.
Their linebackers
so
are not good.
How can you have this amazing, greatest defense of all time with no linebackers?
Because I think their D-line is a real problem with their stunts that they do. He's got those guys doing 8 or 9 different pass rushing moves. These scissors, these side scissors. I mean,
side scissors? That's stuff lesbians do.
Well, on that, stop it. Okay.
Isn't it, Brian?
That's something fishy's going on
side
here.
Scissors,
stop.
Isn't it stuff lesbians do?
Mike, there's something fishy going on. Stop it.
Anyway. Oh, there's something smelling fishy, you mean?
What? No, whatever. I just don't think they have any weaknesses on defense enough to. I think their linebackers. You got to run the ball against them. You can't.
Oh my God, Scott! They haven't played anybody but Penn State.
Mike, they're going to destroy. Go back and look at the history of the Ohio State Michigan games. Harbaugh coaches differently. He changes. He makes some different.
No, he
decisions.
doesn't. You're full of shit. You know what happens when Ohio State plays Michigan? Shut up. You know what happens when Ohio State plays Michigan? Michigan wins because they have a lot more talent, not because Jim Harbaugh can't coach.
I'm just telling you. I think he chokes in big games. You'll see.
You know what?
I'll accept your apology on Saturday night.
This is the thing. There's not going to be an apology. Michigan's going to pull the upset, and you're going to have to come on here, and you're going to have to bow down again.
Tell me why Michigan's going to win. Give me 3 reasons why.
Because I said
so. Really.
I just told you. I said so.
What?
I just said so.
Because I said that makes so much sense.
It
Mike.
does because you know what? When my parents asked me to do stuff and I asked why, they said because I said so. And then
you don't have any reason. Right. So basically, you're saying you don't know why they're going to win.
No, I don't, Scott. I don't know anything. Not like you do. But Shea Patterson's been playing really well. Their defense has been playing very well.
What do you think Shea Patterson's thinking about when he envisions Chase Young across the line? Like, A, oh my God, holy crap. B,
okay, so this is what I think.
C,
all right.
I hate life.
You know what? Sorry. I think Shea Patterson can't wait to play against him.
He's going to get mauled like it's going to be like a whale eating a
like
Tic
your
Tac.
8th grade team did by Marymount?
We had, next year's a new day is dawning. We're getting there.
Why? Did they fire you? They're going to bring somebody else in?
No, that would be a serious step down if they let me go.
So you've
No, I
coached
don't
football
know,
for
Mike.
like 15 years or so. How
20.
many losing seasons have
20.
you had?
We actually haven't had that many. It's rare that we lose that bad. We've had 2 non-losing seasons. We've had 2 winless seasons in.
Oh my
20
God,
years.
you've done this before?
I know. Yeah.
Hey Brian, I think you've
Hey,
coached
do you
about
remember
as
when
long
you-
as I
you-
have. Have you ever had a season where you didn't win a game?
Never.
Yeah, me neither.
Do you remember when you said, "Yeah, let's do a fake punt from our own 30"? You asked me if we should. Remember that?
No, I told you we were going to do a fake punt from our own 30.
Yeah. How'd that work out? It
We
didn't.
scored a
But
touchdown.
I gave you the okay, so it's actually my fault.
We scored a touchdown, Scott.
We didn't score a touch. They scored a touchdown on us on that.
No, we scored a touchdown on the fake punt. James Baldwin.
We did, but
around
then
the
we
corner.
did it again, and if the next week it
We
failed.
didn't do it
And
again
who
because what
who
happened
designed
was
the fake
this.
punt? Tell me, who designed the fake punt?
Hey,
I
how about
did.
this? Did I
Right.
ever tell you this story, Brian? The first time I ever met Scott, he asked if he could design some plays because he had some good ones. And
Oh,
me
God.
and Charlie
don't-
Hunt,
let's
who was
not
my
talk about
assistant. This is the
No.
greatest story ever. This will show
No,
you Scott's
stop.
knowledge. The next day, Scott comes down with like 10 pieces of paper with these plays drawn up on it. And he hands them to me, and I look at the plays. And he says, "What do you think?" I said, "I think all these will work." And he gets all excited, and he starts smiling. His eyes are real big. He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Why do you think they'll all work?" I said, "Because you got 12 O's and 11 X's." On every play, there was
That's
12
not,
O's and 11 X's.
No, I had zero protection, which was a really bad idea.
You know what? Right now, I could call Charlie Hunt, who was there that day. We could call him on the show, actually, if he's not asleep, and ask
we
him if
should do
that's a
that.
true story or not.
No, we shouldn't do that.
Actually, you could probably ask about 30 people in the world.
I still have those plays. They were awful. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah,
They
because
seemed
you
fun. They
had
were fun,
12
right?
players on the team,
Well,
Scott. There
I
can
was
only
with
be
my
11.
ex-wife. It got me. What?
You had 12
Yeah, well,
players.
It got me away from my ex-wife. So I had some time just to. I think I did some shots before I drew those up. So.
You should have been
So-
shot before you drew those plays.
Well, we tried. I know we tried one of them, and it failed miserably.
We didn't try any of your plays, Scott.
No, you didn't, but Charlie Hunt did. I convinced him to, and it was really bad. But you know what? That was
because
a long
it's a
time
penalty
ago.
for
All
12
young
men
and
on the
immature.
field.
What?
It would be a penalty for 12 men on the field.
No, there were a few that were only that definitely had 11, but some of the field formations were illegal. It's just But you know what? I had a lot of enthusiasm. We had a lot of fun.
Actually, I thought I just told you to be quiet and stand in a corner.
I should have done that more. I'll do that now.
I'm pretty sure that's what you did. But, all right. You got paid.
Yeah.
Quit bitching.
Yes. Heyday
All
is
right.
good day.
Yeah. Great job. The taxpayers in Cleves, Ohio should all be pissed.
They love life.
I know it's too late for this, but do you have any parting words of wisdom, Mr. Schmidt?
No, we already did this. I said, everybody have a great Thanksgiving and
Oh, yeah, we did
enjoy
do
football.
this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've been on 2 shows for a total of almost 2 hours tonight, Brian, and you've got 5 minutes worth of airtime on the 2 of them.
I'm telling you.
Hell. So, if you're interested in the CFL, make sure you go listen to the Robert Drummond show also, where we talk about the Grey Cup. Scott. Oh, Scott just left. He doesn't get to give us his words of wisdom. I think somehow he mysteriously got hung up on before we got to that point. All right. So, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We'll be back next week. Matt Andrews-Scavage will be back. Maybe we'll get somebody smarter than Scott to be a guest. So we're looking for a baboon or a tarantula. All right. Remember that. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher. I don't know where the hell a tarantula came from, but that's what made it funny. You've been listening to the grueling, whatever. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about now. So, for Scott Wilson, Brian Schmidt, the Tarantula. I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.